Hello, welcome. I am so happy to have you all here and connecting. This Neptune moving into Aries is a big deal. It's a big deal, and I'm excited to talk about it in this video. To kind of break it down for you guys, I'm going to do a brief overview of what Neptune in Aries means, what it's about, etc. And then I will be jumping into your rising signs and talking about how it's going to be affecting you. As always, your astrological homework is to figure out what your rising sign is. You can use astro.com, Cafe Astrology. There's so many different sites and also apps out there that you can use to discover your rising sign. I always like to preface that your rising sign is probably the most important part of your chart. It lays out the whole foundation that us astrologers actually look at in order to know you deeply and to translate the planets for you. So, with that being said, welcome back. If you've been hanging out with me here on YouTube, and for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm Izzy Astramia. I am an evolutionary astrologer, and I'm embarking on the journey of translating the cosmos for you all. A little bit of background about me is I have a background in teaching, so my deepest desire is to teach all of you about astrology. So if that excites you, come join my Discord. We're building a community there of like-minded people. It's a community space for all people. So come join the community. I would love to have you there. I just recently posted some deep dive questions that relate to this Neptune moving into Aries and Lilith moving into Scorpio. So if you're interested in reading about those, join the Discord community. So my newsletter is live. You can sign up with the link below. If you sign up, and when you sign up, you will get a free 2025 Notion template from me that walks you through the different transits that are happening this year. It is sort of a guideline to help you learn and dive deeper into astrology using planning and goal setting, etc. So get that there. And also with my newsletter, I have been sharing weekly on Mondays the upcoming transits. Also, I go live every Sunday at 4 p.m. PST talking about the upcoming transits. It's a cozy space on Twitch to come hang out with me, ask me any questions that you have astrology related. This last Sunday, I got the opportunity to actually dive into somebody's chart. So if you come in asking questions, I love talking about astrology and I will just keep yapping. So with all that housekeeping aside, let's talk about Neptune moving into Aries. Okay, this is a big deal. So to break it down into a concept that is easy to digest, when you were in school, you learned about the planets and they have an order to them, right? My very excellent mother just served us 9 pizzas. At least that's what I learned when I was in school. And so if we look at those ones at the end, we've got Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, right? Those within astrology are what we call our outer planets, our generational planets. Generational planets meaning that they are affecting the generations. They move slowly. They don't have the same effect as Mercury, who's always bouncing around, or the moon that moves signs every 2.5 days. So it creates a energetic layer that has to do with our generation. I personally like to talk on Pluto being sort of like our, I like to say Gen Z is our Pluto in Sagittarius, our millennials are our Pluto in Scorpio, so on and so forth. So these generational things where we are bringing an upheaval within these certain areas depending on the planet. So Neptune has been in Pisces since 2012. Okay, so this has been very interesting because Neptune is at home in the sign of Pisces. Neptune feels comfortable here. It is this deepening and concentrating effect within the spiritual realm. So it's extra potent when it's here in Pisces. Some sort of themes that I've noticed with Neptune being in Pisces is there's kind of been a boost within the spiritual world, as far as a lot of people are identifying as spiritual people instead of saying I'm Christian, I'm Buddhist, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Like, it is more of this broadening and expanding within the spiritual space. There's been more of a desire and integration to bring that into everyday life. Depending on where it falls in your chart is more of a concentrating effect, but on a global level, we are seeing that sort of connection with spirituality, a lot of divination tools, a lot of sort of these watery spiritual things are becoming more mainstream. It's like everybody's kind of diving into them. You hear on podcasts people talking about sitting in plant medicine ceremonies. We've heard about, more of the connection and bringing these things into the mundane realm and bringing it to our attention. So there's been a deepening within the psychic realm. It's less of, something that came up for me that feels potent within this energy is this less of being burned at the stake sort of experience, where people are coming to terms with psychic gifts, coming into terms with having more of an intuitive direction. And again, this isn't like a massive theme, but it's more on a collective level where things are just shifting. All right. So that's where it's been in Pisces. And now we take this planet of dissolving, of spirituality, of higher love. So Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and Neptune's moving into Aries. The last time that Neptune was in Aries was back in 1862 to 1875. So if we look at astrology from a historical lens, we're able to see the patterns repeat themselves at different levels. And depending on the other planets and what's happening in the transits, we'll get more insight of what can occur on a collective level. Neptune, this planet of spirituality, right? Moving into Aries, which is all about the ego identity, it is truly fighting for what you believe in, right? It brings in the bridge between the connection to God, whatever you deem God to be. It's just a word that I'm using for now to represent something. Whatever you deem God to be, you are actually bringing in tangible action to actually bridge the gap between the spiritual world, beliefs, spirituality, this sort of intuitive feeling, and bridging the gap into actually tangibly taking action on these things. In my live stream, which the recording is, if you wanted to watch that, it is actually listed on YouTube here, so you can go back and watch that, where I'm kind of just chit-chatting about it. But one of the things that came through was truly like bridging, like creating a bridge between your true dreams and what it takes to actually bring those into the tangible world. How can I actually shift my ego, shift how I interact with reality to bring my dreams into fruition? Because Neptune dreams, Aries is all about action. Aries is also ruled by Mars. So when we bring that into this sort of understanding, it really brings in this like tangible, passionate desire to make these things happen, right? So actually stepping up and stepping into your deeper calling is what's coming up. And there's a lot of other transits that I feel that I could continue to dive into, but if you want more insight on the sort of period of time that we're on, my solar eclipse video dives into the energy that's still present. We've got a lot of planets in Pisces, a lot of planets in Aries, and it's sort of this back and forth energy that we have going, where we're really defining and getting clear on our dreams, on our desires, and how to bring those into play. So, oh, hi kitty. Little cat visitation. She likes to hang out up on my shelf. This is her bed here. So this is affecting all of us differently, right? Depending on where Neptune's transiting in your chart, this will be a slow moving theme. Neptune takes about 12-ish years, give or take a few years and retrogrades and whatnot, to move through a sign. So this is sort of a spiritual theme that is coming into play for you. Now, if you have any planets in the sign of Aries, or I would say cardinal signs, so that is Aries and Libra, and then what are my other cardinal signs? Capricorn and Cancer. There we go. Those individuals will probably have a little bit more of a deepening and concentrated effect. So if you're a Aries rising, Cancer rising, Libra rising, or Capricorn rising, it's going to be hitting your angular houses, which are kind of like these pinnacle houses within our natal charts. But if you also have planets in those signs, it will affect those. And again, Neptune moves very slowly. So it's not like if you have a planet at 15 degrees of Aries, you're going to feel it right now. It's going to take about 6 years to get to that point where it's actually touching the aspect of your chart. So if you're wanting to know more details about your own natal chart and how transits affect you, or if you're just looking to get a reading from me, link is down there, and I go ahead and dive into your natal chart, and we'll be able to kind of tailor this more specifically to you and how it's affecting you. So with that being said, let's talk about how it's affecting all the different rising signs. For my Aries risings, this is happening in your first house, okay? So the first house has to do with your identity, okay? So it is how you interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. A lot of astrologers compare the first house to the sort of mask that you wear. This is sort of your filter that you perceive reality through. And now we're taking the planet of disillusionment, of dissolving, of dreamlike energy into your first house. You're about to go under this sort of identity shape-shifting aspect. You might not be able to see things clearly, or people see you clearly. And it's sort of having this fog over your lens. So there's a sort of need to be mindful for how people project onto you. This is the opportunity and the invitation to explore your soul self beyond the ego, beyond the labels, okay? You are in this very magnetic energy. And there's this, you're being called to really look at your authenticity here, okay? And where you are truly being authentic, or where are you just mirroring each other? Neptune kind of puts this mirror, this fog-like lens over your perception, okay? So really looking into ego embodiment, like what does it look like to actually, who am I? Who do I want to be? And you're going to be able to explore that during this time, okay? For my Taurus risings, Neptune is transiting your 12th house. So this is where Neptune is actually at home. So it's kind of this like deepening effect. So you're in this deep spiritual incubation period. Your inner world is going to be it's going to be put on blast. You may be dreaming a lot more. If you're not somebody who has vivid dreams, this is definitely the space where dreams are going to be coming into play. There might be messages in your dreams if you're interested into looking into that specifically. There's going to be a need to retreat a little bit during this time. It's kind of like a part of you is going to be always in this inner world in exploring that, right? This is an opportunity and an invitation to dissolve subconscious patterns and karmic residue. So with that being said, you're going to be seeing patterns come up and being able to see them from a different perspective. There is the chance where this sort of transit might encourage escapism or avoidance. So there's going to be a big need for you to bring in grounding practices and really feeling called to say, like, stay connected with nature. You're a Taurus rising, so that's what's going to be going on for you. For my Gemini risings, this is going to be transiting your 11th house, okay? So 11th house represents connections. It represents humanitarianism. It's talking about your social sphere, right, within your natal chart. So your friendships and social groups are going to be shifting throughout this period of time, okay? So some things may just kind of fall out of sync. You may notice that you don't connect to the same groups that you used to, which is okay. That's the invitation here. You're being drawn to maybe look for more connections around like spiritual people or creative outlets that really reflect this sort of inner heart-centered desire. There's this invitation to really kind of have a vetting process of who you let into your inner circle, right? Don't ignore any of the red flags that pop up. You are learning that community aligns, you need community to align with your soul and not just your mind, right? Okay. All right. For Cancer risings, this is happening in your 10th house. So 10th house, it's the top of your chart. It's like this pinnacle energy. It all, words. It has to do with your career, your life path, your vocation, where you want to put your energy out into the world. So this might create this illusionary image. I'm kind of seeing like a mirage in my mind. So your public image, your career, life path might feel a little uncertain during this time. There is the potential that you might feel, unseen or misunderstood by the outer world. This is your call and your invitation to pursue a vocation that aligns with your soul and not just your status. So service, compassion, artistry are kind of your key to fulfillment here. So it's like bringing in this soul-centered direction with where you want to go. It's going to be a bit of a shift for you because you're going to have to really lean into your intuition to guide your goals and where you want to go. So don't be afraid to let your old path dissolve. What you thought you wanted might be shifting during this time. Okay. Exciting. All right. Leo rising. This is happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house represents your beliefs. It represents higher learning. It represents spirituality in this sort of religious learning. So your beliefs are being kind of like softened. It's like tenderized, right? Maybe a little bit of re-enchantment within this area. Or like it might be completely rewritten. I just heard like unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield? I don't know. But anyways, this is kind of this time for a spiritual awakening, right? There is this thing that Neptune does where it kind of creates some confusion and it creates a pathway of really leaning into your intuition, right? So really really follow the call to curiosity, okay? So traveling inward or outward with reverence and humility. So there's this need to like question things, explore things, art, philosophy. I know as a Leo rising, there's this desire to have things pretty quickly, but don't rush your clarity here. So let your worldview evolve slowly and soulfully. Awesome. Okay. Hey, Virgo risings. Me too. We're in for it in a beautiful way. So Neptune is transiting our 8th house. So there is deep transformation that is unfolding here within the emotional realm, which is the 8th house, within the financial realm, which the 8th house rules over sex, taboo, finances, debt, all of these things. So there's transformation unfolding in this area. So boundaries at this time can get pretty blurry, especially within intimate connections. So there's a need to really tune into your inner compass. You're learning to surrender control in areas that you normally cling very tightly to. This transit is like a sacred rebirth because the 8th house is the portal of the underworld. I'm thinking a lot of like Persephone, where she goes into the underworld. But, you know, when this transit completes itself, or as you get closer to it and stop resisting the surrender, you're going to come out really softened. So this transit's going to feel pretty vulnerable too, right? So trust the process of alchemy. You're becoming something truer. Neptune is going to really help you shed things in this way that is, it's like being in a river and just letting the water wash over you. There's nothing you need to do. Just be and witness. All right. Hey, Libra Risings. I know you guys have been going through it. So with Neptune, hey, I just went through this transit, so I know what it's like. The 7th house represents our relationships, our partnerships, romance. It can also represent our hidden enemies too, right? There is this sort of dreamy, foggy energy that is entering your romantic realm, right? So there's kind of this deepening and concentration within, like soulmate energy. A lot of connections that come in can feel like destined, and they are here to help you evolve and grow and get really clear on your desires in relationships. So there's on one hand this like really deep, dreamy energy within relationships, but there is also, how to remove the cat, projections and illusions that come up here. So it's like you're going to get really, really good at finding the red flags, like who is true, who is not true. So boundaries at this time are your spiritual practice, truly, right? Compassion doesn't mean self-abandonment. So you're learning how to truly see others and be seen in return. So love is magical, but discernment is key. Honor your intuition. Okay. All right. It feels like you're actually applying all this learning that you've been going through the last 18 months. Scorpio Risings. Hi. Neptune is transiting your 6th house, which has to do with routines, within health, work routines too, a little bit, mind, body, spirit connections. So your daily rhythms, so like work, routines, etc., are being softened. So structure might feel a little like slippery at this time. So like trying to find something that has worked in the past, your routines, your structures, all those things that you've been really getting clear on are, I don't know why, but this specific song from my Mormon upbringing just came up, where it's like the rains came in and the floods came up. It's like you want to, it's the religious thing about the guy who built his house on sand versus stone or whatever. I don't know if that's just a Mormon one or not, but it's really thinking about that, where it's like, did you build your routines on a foundation of stone, or is that like something that might get washed away, right? And in a way that like is going to be for the greatest good if you can surrender to this process. So avoid kind of stepping into like martyrdom here. That's kind of a thing that can happen, where it's like, I did all these things for you. I'm doing all these things, you know? There's like an over sacrificing quality here. So it's like getting closer to that sort of theme within the next years. Healing comes from sort of the space of gentleness towards yourself. You are not perfect, and that is okay. Gentleness, creativity, and having like a spiritual practice. Like bring that in. Bring that into the routine if you can add that in. So this is time to align your work with your soul, not just survival. Okay. Alrighty. Sagittarius Risings. Neptune is transiting your fifth house. The fifth house has to do with creativity, fun, dating. So I'm really excited for you guys. This is actually really, really cool. So you're being invited into sacred creativity and heart-centered expression, right? Romance could kind of be a little intoxicating here. So, kind of similar to what I said for Libra Risings, but in this, it's more of this lighthearted energy. It could be intoxicating, but also unclear. So stay aware of fantasy versus reality, right? You can easily get sucked into some relationship stuff. So discernment is key here, but this is also your invitation to let your inner child play. So art, dance, exploration, your creative pursuits will have like an entirely different shift. So like creative inspiration flows best when you're tuned into your heart, into the divine, right? Not just like the algorithm. Like don't create to please other people at this time. Like truly create from a heart space. So love with your soul, not with your ego. Okay. All right. Capricorn Risings. This is happening in your fourth house, which has to do with home, which has to do with your connections, family connections, your roots, your upbringing, right? So your home, your emotional roots are dissolving and reforming. Memories might feel a little slippery here. So in regards to like remembering things of childhood, of different past things maybe coming up here, or even just like having an illusion about what that was like, you're getting the opportunity to reimagine what home really means. This is cat removal. This transit for you guys is going to be deeply healing on an ancestral level, right? There's what's coming to the surface is your lineage's emotional patterns that are replaying themselves through your DNA, and you're getting a close look at that. And recognizing your needs as a kid and providing them for yourself. So your inner child needs safety, not perfectionism. Okay. So soften the walls. Let home become a sanctuary for your spirit. All right. Aquarius Risings. Neptune is transiting your third house. Third house is all about like close connections, siblings, your mind, communication. So your mind and your voice are becoming more intuitive. You're like connecting deeper with the throat chakra and like how you're communicating. So could be more intuitive, more symbolic, what you're looking to share. With the themes of Neptune, there's always potential in both areas. And so you may struggle to find clarity in communication or learning. So like really surrendering to spiritual study, writing, or even like channeling messages. So you might feel like you're opening to an entirely different way of perceiving things too. So recognizing how powerful your mind is and how it's creating your reality, my Aquarius risings. So I'm being called to like talk a little bit about the four agreements, where it's like be impeccable with your word. You know, words are double-edged swords, so you can cast spells with them, whether they are spells of light or spells of dark magic, and vice versa. You may be experiencing that, so be cautious of like gossip. Facts can get foggy here. So just being aware of like how powerful your voice is, how powerful your mind is. speak your truth, but also make room for silence too. All right. Last but not least, always my Pisces risings. Neptune is transiting your second house, which is all about your values, your items, physical world, the body. So your relationship with money, again, your values and self-worth are dissolving and expanding at this time. So you're learning. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about some people in my life that are Pisces risings, and it's just so on point. When I'm in these, I'm like, duh, of course this is happening. You're learning that security comes from soul alignment and not just material gains, right? It's really understanding that abundance doesn't have to have a dollar amount to it. That abundance can be seeing the blue sky every day, or being in a spot where the weather is 80 degrees, you know? Let go of rigid definitions of success. Like, I have to have this, the white picket fence and the house and this and 2 dogs and 2.5 kids in order for me to actually, that's what success is. You're redefining that, right? So there's this deep surrender to trusting what is meant for you will flow. But you have to back it with intentionality. You have to meet the universe halfway, you know, showing up, and like a gratitude practice would probably be very important here. So abundance, it starts in the spirit. Cool. I'm excited for you guys. If you made it all the way to the end here, again, an invitation to join my Discord community. Sign up for my newsletter to get weekly astrological updates. I also stream every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch at Astramia. And we talk about the upcoming transits. And what else? Oh, my readings are open. I'm booking for April. They're going pretty quickly. So if you want to grab a reading with me, I would love to connect with you. All right. I love you all so much. So much. Okay.